Hi, I'm James Shillinglaw, and I'm here with Brian King, who's the Global Officer for Marriott International. Now, Marriott just signed on to support a new campaign that was formed by the U.S. Travel Association called Let's Go There. And that campaign, which we've already interviewed Roger Dow, who is President and CEO of the U.S. Travel Association about, is really aimed at getting Americans to start thinking about travel if they don't actually want to travel right now. And we're going to talk to Brian about why Marriott decided to support it. And actually, Brian is a co-chair of the Let's Go There campaign. And you're going to find out about all that and more on Insider Travel Report. Now, first of all, Brian, how are you and where are you?
Well, actually, I'm great. Thank you for asking. And I'm back here in Washington, D.C. I had spent the last 4 months in Arizona, where I have another residence.
That's tough.
Yeah. So, but it's good to be back in D.C. for sure.
No, I'm great. Well, you're getting there just the time when it's, although I got to tell you, Arizona is probably pretty hot too. But now in the fall, it should be nicer in D.C. in that area. Now, let's talk about this new campaign. Again, it said you're co-chair. Tell us a little bit about the campaign, how it was developed, and what its goals are.
Sure. So it was really in mid to late May that obviously, as we all in the industry got our heads around what was really happening, the travel industry came together, like we've done in other events, after 9/11 or the Gulf oil spill that took place. And how can we rally together and figure out what's the right thing to do? Obviously, this was super complicated. Mm-hmm. And it was the balance of the industry is hemorrhaging. And yet, first and foremost, there's a pandemic, which is a health crisis. And that's everyone's first concern. So we came together to figure out, first of all, what is the right strategy? We want to make sure that we're out there and we weren't tone deaf to customers. Mm-hmm. And it was a balancing act. There's no doubt about it. So we learned as we went. But the idea was to make sure people continued to have travel in their consideration set. And we weren't just dismissed or forgotten about. Mm-hmm. A good example of that today is with what's very challenging in the restaurant industry. The restaurant industry came together, and there was a lot of consumer messaging around takeout and all the things that you could do. The time was now right for travel, for sure.
Yeah. Well, that's the question I have. Marriott came in to support this, and I guess that was based on some research that we're doing. We'll talk about that in a second. Do you think majority of Americans they're ready to travel now?
Well, I think when we did the initial research in May, there was certainly a lot less than they are now. Every week we monitor consumer sentiment around desire to travel, and it has been growing consistently, my likelihood to travel in the next 6 months. The other thing is there's what consumers say they do and what they actually do. And from a hotel industry perspective, we're seeing each week more and more rooms sold. So we keep advancing. We haven't been retracting. And I think you're seeing that across the entire category. TSA is seeing more people check in every week over week. It's slow and steady, I think, is the name of the game here. But the good news is it's an advancement. It's not retrenchment.
Yeah, and absolutely. And I think we were talking earlier, you and I have both been on flights recently. So we were and actually had a very pleasant experience, to be honest with you. I did.
So did I. Fantastic.
Now, is the campaign really designed just to get Americans thinking about travel? Like, oh, maybe we'll go. Or actually, do you think you're going to find some that are ready to book?
Yeah, I think that we've designed a campaign that actually can support two messages. One, we want to tell customers we miss them. And when you're ready, we're ready for you. We are, with all the protocols and safety and procedure in place, we're ready to service you. And now is actually a good time to start your travel planning and research. You've got some extra time. There's great deals out there. Cancellation and waiver policies are super easy. So now's a great time with your family to think about what is that dream trip you want. And we're not saying it has to be tomorrow, but get something on the books. And what's been really interesting through this process in talking to consumers is how much they miss travel. And when we launched the campaign, the amount of people posting on social media, it's like, thanks for the reminder, my wanderlust is gone. We're thinking about a great trip next year. We're researching it. And we know that statistically, behaviorally, there's this emotional kind of immune system you build up when you have something on the books to look forward to, right? For a while in the summer or early spring, I think it was so dire for all of us, everything just froze. And when you don't have that, it was really kind of emotionally tough for anyone in this situation. So we think having some plan out there will help people have something to look forward to and get a little joy in their life, which is important.
Yeah, that's great. And I believe you consulted with a happiness expert or something and researched this. And I was talking to Roger about that and was also on the press call that you had last week. In terms, really, she said people are, when they're thinking about vacationing, are happy.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we all know this. We plan a vacation, we're looking forward to it. We start our vacation, we're excited. Then you're halfway through the vacation, you get a little bummed because it's almost over. Then you enjoy it really well and you think about the great memories. So it's a little bit of this.
Absolutely. Now, of course, we have a lot of barriers, and I think I asked this question on the press call. We're getting this challenge with state quarantines and all kinds of local things. You have to have a map of quarantine procedures to actually go on vacation. I believe I think Roger told me there is such a thing as part of this campaign.
That's right. We make this as easy as possible for consumers because we can understand why this is based on each governor making decisions, certainly, which is definitely their prerogative to do. We were able to design on the Let's Go There landing page, you can go state by state, and it's very clear what their current travel regulations are, all in one consolidated place, right on U.S. travel as well. And, one of the questions we get is, well, my state's really quarantined. That's fine. They may not be welcoming visitors from other states at this point, but people living in those states still want to travel within their own state. It's been interesting to see how much drive business is taking place, and it's anywhere from kind of 50 to 200 miles. Now, in the last month, that's actually expanded to 300 miles. So we are seeing month over month people driving a little bit further. But even that a state is more locked down, there's still great things you can do within your state.
Yeah, and I think you already told me that Marriott is seeing an increase in bookings over the past few months, and that trend is upward, right?
Yeah, again, we're advancing, not retreating. Yeah,
that's great. Now, how are you going to track the results of this Let's Go There campaign? What results do you hope for and expect?
Well, I think there's three things. First of all, how much traffic actually goes to the Let's Go There campaign website. We want to have the central depository of information for the industry for customers to look at. That's one. So traffic, views, and so forth. Secondly, we're going to continue to monitor sentiment each week and see if the campaign is having a change in consumer sentiment around that. And then third, and just as important, is just awareness about travel and getting it in the consideration set of consumers again. That's why we chose some very high value media placements like live sports.
There are live sports there? Oh my God.
Yeah, there are.
Actually, there are a lot. I think every single sport was on this past weekend.
It was, right? I mean, I personally have found the end of Netflix, so I'm excited football season's back.
Yeah, we already gone through that. So everybody, football season, baseball, basketball, hockey. I mean, I've never seen such a combination of events, but it's good that that's where you're going to be out there promoting this campaign.
Yeah, so in addition to, network, we're also doing various publications, and certainly digital is this place we'll be spending a lot of our working media investment. And again, just to get the conversation going about travel again, that's really what we're charged to do at this point in time.
So TV, digital, I was going to ask you about the elements of the new campaign. Obviously, you have a website, letsgothere.travel. Which is there, and how will Marriott itself tie in with this new campaign?
Yeah, so a couple things we've done. We've done last week when we launched, we did what's called a homepage hero takeover and promoted the campaign in conjunction with some great offers that we currently have going on. The mobile app, we feature the campaign as well, and we'll be doing large-scale emails to all of our Marriott Bonvoy members as well, just talking about travel, the great travel content that's out there, and when you're ready, let's go there. So.
No, that's great. And so I assume a lot of the other partners, I know Disney's another partner, and your co-chair is from Disney. So they'll all be doing that too. And I think there's 75, as I said at the top of this, was the 75 different companies and groups that have come together to support this campaign.
And that's what's been really great about this. And this is what's great about our industry, right? Yes, we're all competitors, but at the end of the day, when things get tough, everyone can kind of put their guns on the table, and then we can get together and say what's best for the industry, because our goal is to rise all boats when we work together. And this is a case where we come together, and it's really quite amazing to see this, because it's not just the big brands, the Americans, the United, the Disney, the Hiltons, Best Western. It's also all the destinations, New York and Company, or Visit California. So how do you take an entire industry of brands and destinations and align on one message that we can all promote and lift all boats together? So I think at some point, someone's going to look back and say, this is an example of how you actually manage through a difficult crisis. You partner to be success. Being at each other at odds during normal times, that's the fine. We're all competitive. That's all great. But when times are tough, it's how this industry comes together, I really think is remarkable. And we have a history of doing this over time.
Well, 9/11 and a lot of things like that. And we all remember that when we thought that was the worst crisis we ever had. But
that's right. So you'll see across many, many different touch points in the travel experience where these brands are participating and the destinations with the Let's Go There campaign.
Yeah. Now, just to clarify, this really is focused on domestic travel right now, not international travel?
That is correct. I think we've all come to the realization that, the first to come back was domestic leisure drive very early. And then we'll eventually see, and we are starting to see, flights happen, domestic flights. You'll eventually start to see business travel, transient come back, then small group, then large group, then probably international flights, and then kind of big citywide. So that's what we think the story will unfold like over time. Obviously, the vaccine is pivotal as we start to be able to get back into kind of large citywides and things like that.
Well, I think we will get a vaccine of the sort, and how it's distributed is one thing. I think what's happening with your company and a lot of other companies, the different health and safety protocols that are being put in place that really are making, travel some of the cleanest, better than staying at home. I don't know, in many cases, it seems, and obviously the cruise industry is doing this too. So it's you can look at all these different programs, and they all have the same elements, but it's really designed to make travelers feel confident that when they travel, whether it's on an airline or in a hotel or on a ship, you don't have to worry as much about this. Yeah, you have to take precautions, but you can do it either way. And of course, then the other thing is, and being a COVID survivor myself, yes, there are treatments that they can do. And so the combination of that and the treatments that are coming online may make it, a vaccine is just going to be the extra thing that's going to push us over on this.
Well, I'm glad you're okay, by the way.
Me too. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. But it was an ordeal. It's definitely a disease that can affect. I didn't go to the ventilator. Everybody asked that question, but it was 8 days in the hospital. So it was an ordeal that I do not wish. And I thought I was clean and free. I was down in Florida sheltering, and I ended up traveling back to New York thinking I was okay. And within 2 days, I was who knows? It wasn't a plane. It was probably something down in Florida when they opened up. So, it's great, they're open, and then you never know. But anyway, enough about me, because I think I've told that story a few times and have written a column about it to prove that it is a disease, but also wrote a column about how we can emerge from this. But looking at this, how can U.S. travel advisors use this new campaign to promote travel to their own clients? And where can, obviously the website, but where they can go to find out more about it?
Yeah, so I think there's three things. One, there's certainly the Let's Go There travel website, which also makes it super easy for you as an advisor to understand what the local restrictions are, because we're keeping that updated constantly with fresh information. And most of the brands, including ours, have listed, of course, all their individual guidelines and protocols. One thing I think it's really important from a travel advisor perspective is this idea of what to expect. Mm-hmm. And, Disney's done a great job of this, my partner in crime. There's lots of videos out there. This is what a day in the park is going to look like now. Right. Still a great kind of magical experience, but it will be different. Same with our hotels. This is what a stay will look like at the Marriott Marquis or the Ritz-Carlton. Mm-hmm. And all these websites have very specific things. Like in our case, when restaurants are opening and closing might be different based on demand, right, along with all the safety protocols. So every single brand, whether it's air, car, hotel, or attraction, is doing these what to expect type of informational websites or landing pages. And I think as an advisor, that's just super helpful for your clients.
So that's where that information is available through the Let's Go There website?
Yeah, so you can go to any one of if you click through the site, you can get to specific brands, you can get to states and destinations. And when you land on those brand pages, in our case at Marriott.com, we'll tell you specifically what to expect in our cleaning protocols, as well as hours of operation throughout the hotels.
Well, actually, this is more than just a new campaign. It's also a resource.
It is definitely a resource. And that was the objective. The only way to inspire travel is to give people the right information at the right time and keep it fresh and relevant.
Well, I know.
Because they're curious.
Yeah, well, we have a maze of information right now, and it sounds like this is a good centralized place. I know United Airlines recently put up a website where you could or part of their website where you could actually click on and find, the policies. And I hope everyone keeps everything up to date. It's very difficult because, every day, I live in New York State, and every day they change who's on quarantine and who's not, that based on the information they're getting. So it is a bit challenging. Now, is there anything else you want to tell our audience about 100,000 U.S. travel advisors and other travel professionals about the Let's Go There campaign and Marriott's involvement in it?
Well, first of all, and thank you for being longtime partners. We've all been through difficult times together. By far, this is the most challenging for our industry. And it's the way we work together and take care of each other that will make the difference at the end of the day. I always say, we're hospitality people. We understand, even in the toughest of times, what it means to be hospitable to our customers and help them in tough times. And by far, this is the toughest time our industry has certainly gone through. Secondly, any opportunities that come across any of the brands, and specifically, for Marriott, we're very thankful and appreciative. At the end of the day, to be honest, one of the largest motivations behind the Let's Go There campaign was employment. We have seen what has happened to our industry, and it is heartbreaking and gut-wrenching to know that we don't have as many people working who want to work in our business because the business just isn't there. So we all appreciate any opportunities that you're able to send our way. And from a Marriott perspective, we appreciate the partnership. We always have, we always will. So you're valuable members of our team, and thank you.
Well, Brian, thank you for taking the time to talk to us about the Let's Go There campaign, and it's letsgothere.travel. Go to that .travel and explain a little bit about Marriott's involvement and your involvement as co-chair. We're looking for good things from this campaign and try to get people starting to think about travel if they're not already traveling. For me, I'm already traveling. I'm back out there on the circuit, not the regular circuit, because the regular circuit we'd all be going to trade shows right now. But there are no trade shows, and I think as the day today, I just heard that the world travel market just went virtual. So it's got kind of I think there's only one left, which may not happen. That is discouraging, but these kind of campaigns, this campaign especially, looks like it's going to be a winner, and hope to get more Americans out there. And again, I hope the next time we meet, like a few years ago, we had a panel together, and I moderated the panel with you, and we much better. We'll take Zoom for now. All right.
Yeah, and the last thing I want to close with, I think, what I love about this industry is that we're never victims. We will get through this, and we will be victorious. That is what we do in travel. We're fighters.
I absolutely agree, and we're going to keep on fighting into 2021.
That's right.
They won't stop us. Anyway, again, Brian, thanks very much. I'm James Shillinglaw, and this is Insider Travel Report.